Today, we're going to bust the top 3 cannabis growing myths. We're going to separate the real science from the bro science. But before we do, today's video is brought to you by Real Grow Lab. If you want to connect with the best growers from all over the world, get tips and tricks on how to grow the dankest plants possible, and not have to worry about the censorship we get from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, go check out realgrowlab.com. Get all kinds of great Grow Talk Q&A. Plus, see all the stuff YouTube won't let me show you in these videos. Sign up and join our growing community over at realgrowlab.com. Or download the app at the Apple or Android App Store. Now let's get back to today's video. All right, Hi C, let's save the best for first. Come on, this one's a goodie.
Okay, so I know that there's a lot of bro science, and I've heard a lot of things. And working with you, I've found out that a lot of the stuff that circulates as information is not actually always accurate.
No, come on. The one that drove me nuts was organics always taste better than synthetics.
Now, is that because you grow synthetically and you felt like personally attacked?
No, it's because it's not true. I've tasted plenty of organic weed that is lacking. The things with organics is nature does a great job. So if you can replicate nature with a recipe that has everything the plant needs, that delivers it in the right amounts at the right times, you've nailed your organic recipe.
So there is a seed of truth to it. Organic can taste amazing.
Oh, if somebody knows what they're doing and grows their bud organically, it's absolutely amazing. But it's the exact same thing with synthetics. If someone knows what they're doing, is able to have a recipe that delivers the right nutrients at the right time in the right amounts, and don't forget, we do use a lot of organic components to help out. We use things like microbes and things like humic and fulvics to chelate and get the nutrients in there. But it's definitely a myth. I mean, you can grow amazing or even better bud, I'll say. I'll get some people talking in the comments, but synthetically, because you're in total control.
Okay, and I also know that I've seen a lot of organic grows go wrong. So yeah. Organic doesn't guarantee that it's going to be great flavor.
No, it's a philosophy. For the most part, when I see organic growers, they're taking things that slowly break down, meals and rock dust and things like that take 2, 3, 4, 6 months to break down. They're building their soil with them. There's nutrients in those components, and they're using the microbes to slowly break them down and deliver those nutrients to the plant. That's excellent if it's all dialed in and it's working.
Okay. And you actually, I guess to really hammer the nail home on this one, I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but you kind of blew my mind when you were telling me about the plant's ability to tell the difference between synthetic and organic nutrients.
An organic molecule is big, so it has to be broken down into this ionic plant available form. That's why they talk about organics being slow release. That's why you can burn a plant with synthetics so easily, because the synthetics are already in its plant available form. So those organics, you're letting nature or your microbes or your recipe slowly break those nutrients down and deliver them to the plant. With synthetics, you are in complete control. You can deliver as much as you want. We are using microbes as a buffer. When I'm talking about organics versus synthetics, the most important thing is to remember that the plant can't tell the difference. At the end of the day, the organic molecule, that large organic molecule, is broken down by microbes. Some of that stuff is left in the soil, but what's delivered to the plant is in its ionic form, and it's the exact same thing, whether it's a potassium molecule that was mined from organic material or one that was made in a lab and delivered chemically to the plant. It's the exact same thing to the plant. Now, it's the balance and what's left over that really does make the difference.
All right, let's move on to the second myth here, and that is also a very popular common one, is that more light equals better bud.
Sure. More light equals more bud. Photosynthesis. Light provides the energy for photosynthesis, which is light and building, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, the more light we give, theoretically, as long as we have enough CO2 and nutrients, then we're going to get more flower. So yes, if you're more light equals more bud, but it doesn't necessarily equal higher quality bud.
And let's break down first the CO2, because I know that you can crank your lights up, and if you don't have your CO2 dialed in, it doesn't matter.
Everything, just the same thing we talked about with the organics. Everything has to be in balance for this to work. So yeah, your lights provide the energy to photosynthesize, to make plant material out of light, but these plants are made out of carbon. So you need to have the light rips that CO2 or rips that carbon from the CO2, and that's how you build the plant material. So yes, if you don't have your CO2 in order, or you don't have enough CO2 and you have too much light, that's not going to work. If your environment, if you don't have enough nutrients, it's not going to work. Everything has to be in balance.
And then you mentioned it equals more bud, but not necessarily better bud.
Yeah.
Why does more bud? I would just automatically think, man, more is better.
I mean, it depends what you're trying to do. Is it, 10, 15 years ago, where you're trying to make money off this? Or, man, I'm just trying to show off to my friends. I just want to show that I got great looking bud. So for me, I don't really care if I've got, 4 ounces or 3 ounces or honestly, or 2 ounces, because I'm growing more. I got plenty. So if what you're looking for is better buds, then what you really have to worry about is climate and temperature and humidity over light. I mean, light is for just straight up plant building. I'm building plant material. Man, what I'm really worried about is my secondary metabolites, my terpenes and my trichomes, and not having all that good stuff, all those terpenes and cannabinoids volatilizing, evaporating off. Yeah, I want to keep them inside the trichome. So as opposed to worrying about getting a bunch of light, which maybe is going to make my room hot, maybe more humid, I'd probably rather dial the light down and let make sure that my environment is dialed in, so I get really good, so I preserve those terpenes and cannabinoids inside those trichomes.
Okay, let's move on to the third myth.
Sure.
This is also a really prevalent one. Growing cannabis is hard.
Nah, growing cannabis does not have to be hard, okay? If you took a look back in the day when everyone was drunk on science with blowers and, the 50 moving parts and deep water culture systems and all that kind of stuff, yeah, that they were making it seem like it was kind of hard, but my neighbor would laugh at me. Right on the other side of the fence, my neighbor would be like, oh, man, you just take a little bit of manure, you just take a little bit of compost, you plant your seed in it comes out great. It doesn't have to be hard. This is a hobby, and it's just like we were talking about organics. If you love to do that kind of stuff, you can grow great cannabis that way. If you want to treat it like a science experiment, you can grow great cannabis that way. And if you want to sprinkle a couple grow dots on there and get yourself an AC Infinity tent, it's pretty darn easy that way too.
Yeah, I think the shift in perspective is looking at it like a science experiment versus looking at it like a plant.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense, and it's a lot more fun and fulfilling when you look at it like a plant. Those are my top 3 cannabis myths busted. But what about you? What is a common cannabis growing misconception that you want to set people straight on? Let me know in the comments. And if you dug this video, please hit that like button. Please smash that subscribe button. Share this video with another grower you know. And check out the other couple videos YouTube is recommending. I do think you'll dig them.